Hey guys, it's me again, and this time we are in Trial of the Champions Heroic, the new instance introduced in patch 3.2. So it's basically just one room. You fight all the bosses there. You start off the place, and there's a long introduction, and one by one, three faction champions, opposing faction champions, will come out along with three ads. You're gonna kill those three ads alone. So it's like one faction champion's three ads, the next ones, like you see here. Once those guys are dead, you're gonna fight the actual faction champions at the same time. I'm gonna say three things. One, if they will probably dismount you, and you can just get on a new mount. Two, if you die, just go run back. You're allowed to. Three, when one of the champions dies, as you see here, I'm running back and forth, and that makes him trampled. That means he won't get back on the mount because they all have to be dismounted at the same time. So a popular method I've seen is people will just run out when they all get dismounted, and it'll reset, and it's easier that way. But you don't have to. So as you fight the three bosses, you have to fight them at the same time. But this is the first boss that you can fight, Runok, whatever. He's a shaman, basically. He does shaman spells like chain lightning, healing spells. Keep an interrupt on him. The next boss you can fight is a mage. She does mage spells. It's a blood elf, just a mage. She does fire, bolts. I don't think there's any frost or arcane stuff, but I know it does a couple fire bolts. Oh, and polymorph. It polymorphs, so be prepared for that. She's just very easy. Interrupts again. Uh, if your healer gets sheep, then don't die. This next guy is a hunter, and he's more annoying than anything. He has an ability that's like a druid's hurricane, and you'll see it in this video shortly. It's interruptible. You know, try to interrupt it because it's annoying. He also does the disengage thing where he that's the hurricane by the way, where disengage where he shoots himself back away from melee range. So a popular method I've seen is the tank will just kite all the ads to him, so he has to melee. It's pretty simple. This next guy is a rogue. He does rogue abilities such as Fen of Knives, which is an AoE. He drops that green puddle as you see there, and that. He also puts a stacking debuff on the tank, which deals damage, but it's not that bad. So he's a pretty easy guy. This next guy is a warrior. He does warrior abilities. He does a charge. He does a knockback. He does Blade Storm, which is an AoE, and finally he does Mortal Strike, which reduces your healing, the healing you obtain. And usually this goes on a tank, so the healer should be pretty good with heals through Mortal Strike. I think if you get the hunter, the warrior, and the rogue, you need to be very mindful of the AoEs and the puddle, because that can just wipe your group fast. As for this whole encounter, there's only three guys. I gave you all of them. Um, it can be a hard fight if you're a retard group, but if you don't, it's quite simple. So once you talk to the guy for the next boss, you'll encounter three groups of mobs. These mobs aren't hard at all. They're very simple. All they really do is they occasionally do a holy smite. They occasionally spawn I think a beacon of light, which is like the priest's light well, and if it just heals anyone within range, so you just want to have one person kill that. Doesn't have a lot of health and is easily soloable, doesn't attack, so it's no problem. And when there's one guy left, you can't kill him. He'll be stuck at one health, and he'll be casting something. I forget what it's called, but it reduces your run speed, and it's casted for a couple seconds, and then he dies. It doesn't really do anything to affect your performance, but I'm just saying. But once you kill all these guys, the boss will enter the fight. And you have like a couple seconds before he does that. This boss isn't that hard. A lot of people have trouble with it because of phase 2, but it shouldn't give you problems. So throughout the fight, she'll be casting Holy Smite, and at 50%, she will summon a memory, which is like one of, I think, 30 bosses or something, and she'll become immune to all attacks, and she'll heal back to full eventually. So as you see here, we got, I think, Muru from Sunwell, the memory. These things have about 400,000 health. Burn them, really. This is a great time to use heroism if you have it. When it does this thing that it says, the person begins to involve the Waking Nightmare, then invoke the Waking Nightmare, sorry. It'll Fear you, so if you have like a Fear Ward or a Fear Breaker, make sure to use it. It also has an AoE to melee range, and it also does every couple seconds it puts on a debuff on someone that deals damage like a dot. So that's it. As you see, the boss is at full health, and the boss I believe is healing this guy. So you have to have good DPS, and if any DPS are dead, great DPS to kill this guy. It does take a while, as you see, but once you kill it, the boss will become unimmune to all attacks, and you can just burn it down from 100% again. It's very easy. So instead of fighting the other boss, you could actually be fighting this boss, who is not that much harder. He too has the 3 packs of ads that you have to kill, which aren't hard, as I said. This guy does nothing special really. He does a stun, and he does this where he begins to cast radiant light, and you have to shield your eyes. And the way to do that is just turn around. Just don't look at him. Just turn your character around. If you do look at him, you're going to get a lot of damage done to you, and you're going to die, probably. So as you see here, he targets someone with a hammer of righteousness or something like that. And he will throw it at you. And if you get hit with it, I believe it deals like something like 15,000 holy damage. However, prior to doing this, he may stun you with like a paladin's hammer of justice, I think, and that increases the damage you take. So it might as well just kill you. But if you like absorb the hit, or if you dispel, I don't know, something, then what'll actually happen is you'll catch the hammer and it'll become your one ability. This is what I read on Wowhead. So I've never done this, and it is an achievement to kill him with his own hammer, but I've never done this. So if you catch the hammer, it becomes your one ability, and you can throw it back at him, which deals damage. And so this is the boss, really. It's much easier than the other one, I think. So after clearing all those other bosses, we fight the final boss, the Black Knight. He has a little intro where he flies around the room, comes down, does some role-playing stuff for you. You don't really care. You just want to kill him, right? No one cares about this, unless you're really into WoW. But normally no one cares. So he's gonna do his little, speech, and then you start fighting him. So he's a Death Knight. He does Death Knight abilities in both Phase 1 and Phase 2. Stuff like Plague Strike, Blood Plague, Obliterate, stuff like that. In Phase 1, he will summon a ghoul, as you see here. You don't have to kill it. It's fine, But sometime throughout this fight, he will cast Ghoul Explode. When he does that, it's a channeled spell, and I don't think it's interruptible. And what will happen is the ghoul's going to explode, and it deals AoE damage to anyone within the explosion, of course. And he also does another thing called Death's Respite, which is just a melee hit that hurts. So Phase 2, he respawns, and he is still the Black Knight. He will summon an army of the dead, which is not interruptible, so you have to fight all these guys. Like the last phase, he will cast Ghoul Explosion, and so will these guys, I believe. They cast it themselves. And they explode, and everyone that's in melee range gets hit, so make sure your healer has good chain heals if needed. He also puts a yellow circle on the ground, kinda. You don't want to stand in that because that deals damage and slows you down, and it's like a poison cloud. Just don't stand in it. It's easy. Just kite the boss out of that, and you're good. And don't kite the boss around the whole room. Just kite him out of that, because I had a guy that did that, and not a good idea. So the final phase, he respawns again, he's a ghost, and this phase is the easiest. It's just a tank and spank. All he does is put a debuff on you that increases the magical damage you take, and he has a magical attack. That's it. That's basically the whole dungeon. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have fun in this place. Good luck, and see you next time.